22-0388DE.
All right, today's the status conference. This is a file that my court is handling because there's been a conflict from one of the Monroe judges. So it's still technically considered a Monroe file, but I am handling it from the judicial perspective. And may I have the names of our participants, and let's begin in the courtroom.
Stanley Kotcher.
Welcome. And all right, so let's go to Mr. Smith. Yeah, your introduction, please.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Russell A. Smith representing Dan Kotcher and Karen McKeon. They are zooming in on a separate feed today.
Yes, I see them. Could you just let us know, maybe you could just give us your name so we know you can hear us.
Karen McKeon.
Daniel Kotcher.
Nicholas Kotcher.
All right, Mr. Nicholas Kotcher, do you have an attorney?
No.
Thank you. Let's go over to Robert
Zowaida, Judge.
Zowaida, okay.
Thought I'd save you from that. Robert Zowaida.
Yeah, you try.
I'm the attorney for Stanley Kotcher, Judge. Good morning.
Good morning. I have someone who's joining us from an iPhone 10. If you could introduce yourself, please. Oh, this person is not connected to audio. So let's go over to Brittany Bryant. If you could let me know what brings you into the courtroom today, please. Oh, you're probably on the next one. We've got a 10:30 under Bryant, so we'll put you back in the waiting room. All right, so I've reviewed the file. It looks like you all were in the process of discovery, and you had some pending trial dates and have had a couple runs at mediation. Would you agree with that, gentlemen?
Yes.
I would add that I believe that we've completed discovery, and we had, I believe, a final pretrial that was scheduled when the judge, Judge Lohmeyer, entered the order of disqualification, as did the other judge of Monroe County, and so that left us without dates.
That's correct, Judge.
All right, so for purposes of today then, would you be looking for a final pretrial and trial dates? Is that safe to assume?
Yes, Your Honor, we would.
I think that's fair, Judge, yes.
All right, well, let's go to our trial dates first. I have potentially February 5th or February 2nd. I'm sorry, February 5th or February 12th, all day. And I guess the other question is, how long do you think you're going to need for trial?
We had 2 days scheduled before that, Judge, and unless counsel disagrees with me, I think that should be fine.
We'll try it, Judge. It really depends on what Mr. Zowaida has in mind. I'd like to try it in 2 days. I think it will take at least that. So looking at my schedule, I have a matter February 5th, February 12th is open in my book, Judge.
All right, I could give you 12th and February 12th and 13th. Does anyone else have a conflict with those 2 days?
I do have it on the 13th, Judge. I have a sentencing in Ypsilanti, which is an in-person matter. 12th is
what time is your sentencing?
It's set for 8:45, Your Honor. I don't think it will take an especially long time, but it is in Ypsilanti, and the trip from Ypsilanti to Adrian, I don't know how long that would actually take me. So, I have no problem with the date. I suspect I could be there in the afternoon for sure. It's always, you cannot predict what a court docket is going to be, Judge. I'd like to think I could get in there, get my gentleman sentenced within 15 minutes and be on the road to your court. But I don't want to be late to any court. So, I prefer another date or that afternoon continuation.
Your thoughts, Mr. Smith?
Say that again, Judge.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not who I was trying to talk to. Mr. Zowaida, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Zowaida. It is. I'm okay on. I'm wide open on February 12th. I'm also wide open on February 13th. We could we could try it in the afternoon of the 13th and see if we can accommodate Mr. Smith. And frankly, the rest of that week is looking pretty open to me too.
I am not open the rest of the week, but I do have those 2 days. We could give you all day the 12th, and then the 13th. We can aim for, I mean, if you want to try for 11 to get that extra hour in, or just start in the afternoon. Do you have a preference, anyone?
Afternoon, Judge. I don't want to be in a situation where I can't appear when it's scheduled. So that would.
All right, I'm sorry. Are we adding in the afternoon of February? Well, did you say February 11th? That's a Sunday.
No, 12th,
No.
12th all day, and we're talking about the 13th, Mr. Zoida.
I apologize. Yeah, that's fine. You know, I certainly don't want to see Mr. Smith racing through the highways of Michigan to get to court. So let's give him as much time as he needs.
Very good. So then we would begin at 9 a.m. on February 12th and expect to see you all day. And then on Tuesday, the 13th, we would recommence at 1 o'clock for the rest of the day.
Could I also suggest a couple of additional items for this so that the parties can adequately prepare? Maybe a couple weeks before trial, if we could have a final pretrial conference, and by that time, perhaps the parties could submit trial briefs to the court and identify their witnesses and exhibits by that time, and maybe Mr. Smith and I could even agree on a binder of exhibits, you know, what is agreed to be jointly admitted and what we have differences on, and then we'll take it up in front of the court on the day of trial.
Makes sense.
You're a little bit ahead of me. I was going to just make sure that we had our trial date first and then look at the status, the final status conference or final pretrial to make sure that, I mean, the trial date is obviously much harder to schedule than a pretrial.
Right. Didn't mean to get ahead of myself, Judge.
All right. Before we go any further on the trial date, is there any other party participating that has an issue with those 2 dates? Please speak now.
That's fine with me.
All right. Very good. So then we'll leave those dates for trial on the 12th from 9 to 4:30 and on the 13th from 1 to 4:30. So for purposes of final pretrial or status, well, yeah, we'll call it our final pretrial. Do you want to look at January 9th?
Maybe if we could get at least one more week, Judge. Mr. Zoida and I have participated in many depositions. I've got stacks of paperwork that we have to sort through regarding possibly agreeing to exhibits and the exhibits of both parties. So maybe a week after that, if that's available to the court.
How much time do you think you're going to want for your final pretrial?
Not more than an hour.
It should work.
Well, I don't have an hour until Thursday, January 25th or Friday, January 26th.
Either day works for me, Judge.
My client is out of town during that time, but I don't know that, you know, and he can speak up seeing as how he's in the courtroom. I don't think he needs to be part of that. We can confer before the pretrial conference, but that should be fine by me. Which, and again, that was did you say the 25th or the 26th?
Yeah, I also have, we could do actually the afternoon of the 24th, if that helps.
Afternoon of the 24th is fine by me.
That works, Judge.
Okay, I have 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock.
Either's fine.
Does that help with your schedule?
It does not, but my attorney says I wouldn't have to be here.
You can always zoom in too, if you want to take the time to do that. I don't know where you'll be.
I'll be out of the country for like 11 days or 12 days, right in that area.
All right, well, in the off chance that you get a Christmas miracle and you decide to settle the case, you'll just have to contact me and let me know so that we can find a time on a different day so that you could participate.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
So let's schedule the final pretrial conference for January 24th then at 2 o'clock.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge. Would that be by Zoom or in person?
It's fine with me if you want to Zoom. And then I do want all of the things that Mr. Zawida talked about also at that pretrial conference, that final
Very good.
pretrial conference. So, Mr. Zawida, do you want to prepare the order?
I'd be happy to prepare the order, Judge. So just to be clear, by January 24th, parties will exchange trial briefs identifying their final witnesses for trial, and identifying their exhibits. And separately from that, counsel will work to preparing exhibit binders for trial. One last item, if I could bring it up. For witnesses who are more than, an hour away from the courthouse, I plan on personally attending. Obviously, my client is willing to attend status conferences personally, so he wants to be there as well. I imagine the other interested persons as well, but some other witnesses, would it be possible to accommodate their appearance via Zoom if necessary?
Well, for the trial itself, I prefer in person, especially for our attorneys and interested parties or anybody who's going to be actively participating. For witnesses, I would expect you to kind of discuss that ahead of time, and maybe if you know for sure you're going to have a witness that needs to use Zoom for the trial, we could talk about it at the final pre-trial.
All right,
Obviously,
fair enough.
they're going to need to have a good connection, right?
Right.
Sometimes that's an issue, so.
All
I
right,
think we can probably work it out, Judge, with, Mr. Zawida and I go way back on this case. We've been able to resolve some simple things between us gentlemen. So
yeah,
possibly we
Mr.
can-
Smith and I have worked together well. That's true.
Great, glad to hear.
It's Christmas, Russ. I have to be cheerful.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you for your
Thank you.
time.
Merry Christmas to you too.
All right, very good. I'll look for that order from you then, Mr. Zawida. And unless there's any other questions, that's all for today.
Have
All
a
right,
good day,
thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Have a good holiday.
Thanks for coming in.